What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we're going to do a little story time. Today's story time is called The Wake Up Call. Wake Up Call or The Wake Up Call. So Kari and I like to watch these reality TV shows. I mean, she likes House Hunters, she likes the Kardashians. I can deal with the House Hunters, especially the international one. It's cool. We'll watch the WWE Divas. And lately we've been watching one called Wake Up Call that has The Rock in it. Now, of course, when something new comes out, you kind of, even when the Jersey Shore came out, we were like, what the fuck? First show, we were hooked. Me and Kari would fucking rush home on Jersey to watch the Jersey Shore. And, you just don't know when something's coming out whether you're going to like it or not. So we decided to check out the Wake Up Call, or Wake Up Call with The Rock in it. And as it turned out, what's interesting is, The Rock is giving people different ways to change their lives, opportunities to change their lives. And, I'm watching this and I'm like, shit, this is what happened. I was at that, where these people are, I was at a turning point in my life. Let's fix this camera angle. Fucking camera angle. I was at that turning point in my life where I needed a wake-up call in 2012, 2013. Now, this is where story time begins. So, 2012, I had reestablished myself as one of the top competitors in our area. And 2013, I said, I'm going to push it to new heights. It was going to be my 20th year on stage. I've been competing for 2 decades. I'm going to push it as hard as I possibly can and do something new. I'm going to bring something new. I'll be so shredded that, it's people had never seen that from me. And that's exactly what I set out to do. However, through that prep, I realized very quickly that, after 20 years, at 38 years old or 37 years old, my time was ticking down in the sport. Now, for 20 years, actually longer than that, because that was just how long I was competing. So for 22, 23 years, all I ever focused on was bodybuilding. That was it. Everything else revolved around bodybuilding. Jobs, relationships, family, you name it, everything revolved around bodybuilding. That was the only thing that mattered, was the next workout, the next meal, the next show a year from now, whatever the case may be. Everything revolved around bodybuilding. And, I'm not going to lie. I lost relationships. I lost good jobs. I gave up and sacrificed a lot for something that, I wouldn't say it was a dream. I would say it was a passion that I was following 125 million% of the time moving forward. And I knew that this was coming to an end. And, when you start this journey, you don't really think about how is this going to end. You just see the next, next obstacle in front of you, overcome that obstacle, the next show, the next thing you have to do to be better than you were before. And you don't stop and think, how is this going to end? What is this going to be like? What am I going to do then? And I think that it happens for a lot of people like that. And next thing you know, you're just left there kind of like, what do I do now? And I kind of saw it coming. And I said, you know what? YouTube had just started to take off for me. I was learning that I had more to offer outside of the gym, outside of competing, that I did competing. And I was trying to figure out, where do I go from here where I could still be involved with things in the sport, still enjoy myself, still, do what I love to do, but progress further without having to get on stage anymore. And I kind of sat back and I said, I don't know. I really don't know what to do. And in the past, I tried, I worked up to 4 jobs at a time and still competed. So I knew I had the work ethic in me to move in another direction. I just didn't know what that direction was. And that's when I saw, actually, Kari got me a copy of The Rock's book. I don't remember the name of it, but anyway, The Rock's book. I read the book and realized there's a bunch of similarities between him and I in a lot of ways. And I said, okay, this is kind of interesting. I knew who he was as a wrestler, and everybody's a fan of the wrestling thing, but as far as the person goes, he's kind of more interesting than I thought he was. No offense to him at all, but it's kind of interesting, the parallels. And I said, I bet a lot of people can draw the parallels between themselves and this guy, and that's why he's so popular. So I was watching, YouTube videos or whatever the case may be. I went over to Facebook, and The Rock was turning 40. Now, sometimes somebody can tell you something over and over again. Like, I can tell Kari, no, you got to do cardio. That's how you get lean. And she'll be like, eh. And then she'll go, one of her friends will be like, oh, you got to do cardio. That's how you get lean. She'll be like, oh. And she'll call me and go, honey, I got to do cardio. That's how you get lean. Sometimes it just takes one person to say it a certain way and things click. Otherwise, everybody else keeps telling you and, it doesn't click. Well, I had people telling me all along, take the YouTube thing, run it. Do this, do something. You don't have, advertise yourself. Get yourself out there more. You don't have to be a competitive bodybuilder to be successful at something that you want to do. And I said, I don't know how to do that. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And, The Rock said, it was a quote on his 40th birthday, which pretty much changed my life forever. He said, I worked hard every day of my 30s so I could sit back when I'm 40 and smile. Now, to the average person, they may just think, so what? What I interpreted that as very quickly was there's a short period of time that you're going to have opportunities, and you need to take every advantage and take every opportunity that comes your way and fucking run with it. Take it 100% and just run with it. And whatever happens, happens. But every time you see an opportunity, you grab it and go. And then at the same time, Arnold Schwarzenegger had posted something later that day. It said, if you want to be successful, sometimes you're going to have to go without sleep. Sometimes you're going to have to go without food. Well, that's just like competing for bodybuilding. So I'm starting to piece this together and say, okay, wait a second. Now, I need to get a short period of time where I need to, make things work, because I'm getting older. Nobody's getting any younger. And sometimes I'm going to have to sacrifice in my life, just like I sacrifice for bodybuilding. I need to take all that energy and sacrifice and everything that I already know how to do and shift it into something else. But what else is it going to be? And that's when I kind of looked back at The Rock and I said, this guy must have the answer. When The Rock played football and football was coming to an end, what he did was cut it off, put it aside, move on to the next thing, which was wrestling. When wrestling had taken its turn, cut it off, moved on to the next thing. It was family movies and, these different movies. And once those things had kind of gone its route, cut it off, went into action movies. Like, he would take one thing at a time, concentrate on 100%, but when it was done, you cut it off and move to the next thing. And that's the problem I'd always had. I hadn't been able to cut bodybuilding off and say, I'm done with it. This is the best I'm going to be at it. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be more unproductive than productive for my lifestyle and for me. And I need to move on to something else. And it all just fucking clicked. It was like, you know what? I sit here in front of this camera and talk on these videos. And next thing you know, I'm getting emails like fucking crazy from people that they're helping. At the same time, I talk about my addiction problem, which does spike something in other people that are going through it at the same time. And all of a sudden, I have a whole new purpose. I'm not the guy that needs to be a bodybuilder. I'm not the guy that needs to be on stage. I'm the guy that needs to put out some information that nobody else is putting out there. I need to put myself out there. And next thing you know, it was like one thing after another, opportunities came up where it was like, this company wants you to come to the Arnold to be at the booth, and this one wants you to fly out over here, and this one wants to give you a sponsorship. And all these opportunities came up one at a time. Now, in the past, I might have said, I got to train for a show. I can't go fly over to California to do this. I got to get ready for a contest. I can't go to the Arnold because I got to get ready for this show. I got to stay home and eat my food. Like, you would miss out on these opportunities I never realized that I was really missing out on. But then at the same time, I wasn't setting myself up to have these opportunities in the first place because I was focusing so much on that one thing that wasn't going anywhere. And that was it. That was my wake-up call. It was clear as day after I pieced it together. But sometimes it just takes that person to say it that certain way, which is exactly what The Rock and Schwarzenegger did. And I guarantee you that, when both of them said that, they're not thinking, oh, this is going to affect people worldwide. This is going to change somebody's life. They're just like, this is how I feel about this situation. Boom. And, for some people, it may not affect them at all. For other people like me, it does affect them. And it does change your lives drastically. My life is completely different now than it was in 2013. With the stuff that we're doing, the clothing line, my business internationally has grown because I've been focusing on business and not going to the gym and being a bodybuilder. Focusing on putting more into the YouTube channel, which you guys have responded. Now we're up to 73,000 or something subscribers. Like 2 years ago, we were at 0. We've come so far so fast that, I think it's like 12.3 million views or something like that. We've come so far so fast because of the energy that I've put into it and the effort that I've put into it, and you get out what you put in. And I think that's a take-home message is, everything that you get out of something, you have to put just as much, if not more, into it to get it back out. So that was my wake-up call. Things are still going good. And then it's just kind of by chance, the next thing you know, there's a TV show with him in it called Wake Up Call, and he's doing the same thing for these other people. He's telling them, look, flat out, here's your life. This is where it's headed. Here's a turning point right here. Here's a fork in the road right here. Which way are you going to go? And then they have to choose. And if they choose that, the wrong way, nobody on the show yet says, yeah, I'm assuming that most of them just choose the right way, but you choose the wrong way, this is where you're headed, it's going to be awful. You choose the right way, and your life could be so much better. So, for that, we have to thank him. Got to thank Arnold at the same time. And for you guys out there that are at a turning point right now, look deep down inside. Look deep inside as to what you can do to change your situation. And if it's a negative situation, do everything you can to push it in a positive direction, but keep moving forward. Biosretraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biosretraining.com is a blog. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, bicep, and we're out.